understanding the purpose of a family trust. Hi, I'm Jaco Grobbelaar, the founder and managing director of Prosperity Enterprises. The family trust plays a critical role in your structuring. The main purpose of the family trust is to preserve and protect wealth rather than to build and create wealth. You want to have the family trust separate and in your structure for all your paid off assets to make sure that your assets are protected. There is a proverb that says, the art is not in making money, but in keeping it. What does it help? You build up a lot of wealth, but you lose it all again. And that is where the family trust comes in, is when you build wealth, you want to preserve it and you want to protect it in the family trust. Now, the best time to start is when you are young and you do not have a lot, because then you can start moving assets into your family trust right from the beginning. Whereas when you have a lot of assets, it becomes slightly more difficult. In one of our other YouTube videos, we spoke about why you need to have at least 2 trusts. In this YouTube video, we are going to focus on the importance of the family trust in the structure. There are 3 main reasons why the family trust is so important. The first one is asset protection. You want to protect what you have built up. Property entities often have a lot of debt. Remember, when you buy property, you usually buy it with debt, which means that your property company has a lot of properties maybe, but it also has a lot of debt. And things can go wrong when you have debt, because if you default on those payments, creditors can come like the bank and they can repossess those properties and any assets in the entity where the properties are held. That is why you are not going to keep your investment properties in your family trust, but rather in a separate company underneath your holdings trust. Now, sometimes the banks may be so clever to say that they don't just want you as the director to sign surety for your property company. They want the shareholder, which is the holdings trust, to also sign surety for your company. And if that is the case, if your assets were to be in the holdings trust, it would still be exposed. And it is for that reason why we create a separate family trust where we put all the paid off assets so that that can be safe, sound, and separate. The types of assets that you will keep in your family trust, once paid off of course, is the following. It could be your primary residence or your holiday home. It could be a paid off vehicle. It could be furniture, art, jewelry, investments, your life policy. All of those are assets that you want to hold in your family trust where it is safe and separate. When you sit with assets in your personal name, we can sell those assets at market value, in other words, the second-hand market value of those items, to the family trust by means of a contract of sale. What we then want to do is we want to donate against that loan account that has been created every year till those assets are completely paid off. It is then very important to remember that once your family trust is set up, from now onwards, every time you buy yourself something, if you are buying yourself a new big screen TV or you're buying yourself a new beautiful leather couch, remember, you are not going to buy these assets in your own name anymore. You are now going to buy these assets in your family trust. So how will the money flow? You will pay the money from your bank account into the family trust bank account. We will allocate it as a donation or a loan. We will make sure at the end of the year that it's correctly recorded in the books. And then the family trust will purchase that asset, because in that way, those assets are protected and it is separate from your name. And those assets do not sit in your name. As I said, remember, the worst place for you to keep any assets is in your own name. And the reason for that is because as a property investor, you sign surety for your property companies, which means if anything goes wrong anywhere, creditors come to you personally. And that is why you don't want any assets in your personal name. The second benefit are tax benefits. Do you know that you and your spouse have an exemption of what you are allowed to donate to your family trust without paying donations tax? We want to make use of that exemption. So that is money that you can freely move from yourself to your family trust without having to pay donations tax. Your family trust becomes then the lender of all entities. That means that if you have any other trusts or companies that need money, those entities will always borrow money from your family trust. So you will move the money from your name to the family trust as a donation or as a loan. We will allocate that correctly. And then your family trust will lend money to your various entities. So if you have a property company that needs money in order for you to buy a property, the money will flow from you to your family trust bank account, from your family trust bank account to your holdings trust bank account, and from the holdings trust bank account as a loan to your property company. So in that way, what you are doing is slowly but surely you are moving your wealth from your name to your family trust, and you have all your entities owe your family trust money. In that way, when your property entities are doing well and you want to pay back those loans aren't paid back to you. Those loans are paid back to the family trust, and in the family trust, you can then acquire assets that can be used personally. So money will never flow between you and a property company directly. The only time that property will flow between you and a property company directly is if you live in one of the properties that your property company owns and you are paying a rent to your property company, because then you will be seen as a tenant, the company will be seen as a landlord, and you will pay rent monthly to your property company. But in all other instances, when you want to move money to your property company, it will always go via your family trust so that we can take advantage of those tax benefits and those exemptions that we have every year to move funds from our name to our family trust. If you would like to have assistance with your trust structuring, remember to contact us at Prosperity Enterprises. Book your one-on-one consultation with us. The third reason why the family trust is so important is for estate planning. You want to make sure that when you die one day, you have absolutely nothing in your name. The costs at death can be enormous, and you can eliminate those costs by structuring your assets correctly. Those costs are estate duties, executive fees, capital gains tax, and transfer fees. So when you die, you ideally don't want to have anything in your own name. You want all your properties and property companies underneath your holdings trust. You want all your own paid off assets in a separate family trust, so that when you pass away, your deceased estate is very small and there are very few costs associated to that deceased estate. If you like this content and you would like to receive more of it, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.